Coming up today, we're joined by the crew from West Best Bloc Fest.
We need to leave space for the younger ones to learn how to promote, learn how to put on their own shows, learn how to get sponsors, learn how to do it, and we're here for them.
We'll tell you about the new management over at the Lambton Park Hotel, and Dan will give us a heads up on this weekend's gig guide. Produced on Awabakal and Warramai land, this is The Good Stuff on Newcastle Live.
This is
Good.
good stuff.
The good stuff. Brand new management have taken over the Lambton Park Hotel with the aim to turn it into a truly family-friendly destination. The Lambton Park Hotel boasts a rich history dating back 140 years, making it one of Newcastle's oldest establishments. You can find out more about the plans and the team behind it by heading to newcastlelive.com.au.
This is
Good stuff. After a sellout first year, West Best Bloc Fest will return this October with over 100 acts across 7 venues. Right now, we're joined by Dylan, Chris and Wanagi from Band-Aid Bookings and Festivals. I want to start off by talking about last year's West Best Bloc Fest because obviously it was fantastic. It was the inaugural festival and yet it just went on so flawlessly. You know, everything just happened when it needed to happen. So I'd like to talk about what goes on behind the scenes to make sure that everything runs so smoothly. Chris, what kind of part and role do you play in that?
I look after all things production, to be honest. West Best Bloc Fest last year, the planning of it was all a bit rogue from Dill.
In what way?
It was kind of thrown together. He had an idea and it all sort of came to fruition really well, surprisingly. But it was kind of late in the game that Dill sort of approached me to sort of become officially involved with Band-Aid and West Best. And then we brought Wanagi in at the same time. So I guess it was having the right people to run the stages and then figuring out the logistics of all the gear we needed. Because, there's a few venues involved.
Just a few?
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. It was not too bad. I'm kind of lucky. I've partnered into Dig Deep Productions, and so I've got the resources available to sort of make all of that happen. So that was kind of good.
How does it feel having to move bands in and move them out, and especially in such a large quantity on one day?
Having them share backline is huge.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big necessary thing to start with. And then having Lockie Dunn looking after artists, that was a big plus as well. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah. What a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend. Yeah.
Nudge, what's your role in this?
As Chris had said, when I was brought in pretty late in the game last year, I kind of stepped in and immediately was like, okay, we probably need to advertise this. I think at this point last year, or maybe a week ago last year, a memory had popped up from then saying the first lineup announcement had been done.
Yay.
And we've been promoting this festival now for like a few months and planning it for a lot longer than that. So last year, I'd stepped in and just set up some advertising campaigns and shot the event and did some video. This year, I'm focusing more on building out a team, so getting other photographers, videographers in to take the reins when it comes to shooting and putting together the content for the festival and sort of taking more of a role in promoting and marketing the event, keeping content up and helping out with some of the administration and logistics of getting ready for the festival so that Dylan, is free to be the mad genius and come up with ideas and sort of work with Lockie on finding the best artists for the day.
So would that mean that you're taking on more of a directorial role in what's being captured on the day?
Even in that sense, we're giving some of that to other entities, So we've got Mark that's going to come in, you'd know Mark Stevens, and bring in a team of photographers to work with. And he has a really clear idea of what we're wanting to get out of the day. I think on the day itself, what we'll be doing is going around and just capturing fun little moments and engaging with people and making sure that, everyone's happy and everything's running smoothly. I want to be as low touch when it comes to actually creating content on the day as possible, and also just be able to enjoy it, after working so hard to get it across the line. it'll be fun to just be able to enjoy the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Something I'm looking forward to this year as well, to be honest.
Yeah, just getting to enjoy it.
I was stuck in the bloody family hotel for the day last year, so I'm going to make sure that's not the case this year.
So you'll get to walk around?
Yeah, I'll take more of a production manager role and just sort of be roaming around, putting out spot fires and whatever else. So, yeah, enjoying the day as much as I can.
We had very different days last year. Barney was in one venue the whole day, and I think me and Dylan each got in like 30,000 steps or something. Something wild, just ping-ponging between venues and never stopping, you know.
Yeah, wow. So last year we saw over 70 artists hit the Newcastle West Block, or the West Best Block. Yes, you know what I'm saying.
West Best Block, yes.
This year you're moving up to 100 artists. Who are some of the standouts or the ones that you're most looking forward to? Did you want to start, Dill?
Yeah, Macy, straight up. I think Macy's just got it. I really hope that she can work on her craft and build that over the next year, because she's got some voice on her, and the team that she works with to produce her songs is really, really cool. I think the big one as well would be Where's Jimmy?
Yes.
They've created a following. They're gigging every week. They're obviously, people that have seen them, their energy is in top notch, so to speak. Hugh is great. And then we've got obviously some older guys that have been cruising around as well for a long time. We've got Huckleberry in again, James Thompson in again, and then our mates Bloody Hell are going to be on this year. And then Turpentine Baby Chino, guys that have really, Cormac Grant, like, oh my God. So there's a lot of great artists, and it seems they're releasing a lot of music, they're playing a lot of shows, they're touring. So it's been exciting to watch a number of the bands that we put on last year come back. And not only that, they've gone on to bigger and better things. They're getting great festival slots and so on. So there's probably a little too much to mention in regards to the 100 artists. I think we're at late 80s at the moment, confirmed, and so we've only got a handful that we're just waiting to confirm. So
I think Dylan has rattled off a couple of my favourites in there as well. Like I always love seeing Bloody Hell play. Where's Jimmy have been killing it. Cormac, I absolutely love what he does. I think for me though, what I'm most excited for as well is being able to discover new favourites. I think, I haven't necessarily listened to every single one of the bands yet. I'm going through the process of doing that and posting it, and I'm really enjoying in putting up posts for each of the bands and discovering different artists. I think that's what's going to be most fun.
And similarly, like the promo stuff we're doing at the moment is really enlightening me to how much quality music there is around, because every time we put a post up, I'm like, wow, that song's amazing. So there's so many good artists, but then there's also some I'm really looking forward to that haven't been announced yet, so I'm waiting for that, so I can't really say yet.
That's really exciting.
just what they want.
Yeah, okay. So there is more to come, and
there is
big artists or any hints?
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait and see.
Well, you'll be the first to know.
We'll DM you, Bonnie.
What kind of impact do you think this festival has on being able to get these local artists recognised by their own community and by the rest of Australia?
Look, I think that it's a great opportunity to get them exposure in front of people that might not otherwise see them on their weekly gigs. And also the amount that we sort of promote this event as opposed to how much the local gigs happening every week get promoted. So I think there's massive exposure opportunities. But also, to toot my own horn a little bit, the production levels are sort of better than a lot of the pubs that they play around in from week to week as well. So it's kind of an opportunity for them to get on a bigger stage setting and with a better gig. So that's all pretty exciting, I think.
What we've seen over the last year is that it's more or less enhanced that scene. So the artists are getting to know one another. The genre, they're not genre specific, like they're not into one thing. They're turning up at other people's gigs no matter what they're playing. Everyone knows everyone. I know social media helps that, but everyone seems to be on top of and following every other band. So every other band follows every other band. That's where I see like the community start to really suck itself in, and that kind of like solidness that we're having at the moment is really just starting to spread out into weekly shows, and then we're watching young promoters, we're watching venues be turned on now to original music, and that enhances it. There's more work for everyone, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of community, we've noticed that there have been other festivals that have popped up, especially in this last year after West Best. What are your thoughts on having more festivals that are kind of, similar?
Well, yeah, I think it's amazing. I really do. I think that the last thing that we'd want to do is have a stronghold on this. We could do a Band-Aid every couple of months if we really wanted to, but we need to leave space for the younger ones to learn how to promote, learn how to put on their own shows, learn how to get sponsors, learn how to do it, and we're here for them. We've brought in a lot of young people that are wanting to be involved in what we do. So I think that the more that there is, the better the next generation will be, because it seems to be a lot of the younger ones are starting to do things like this. And then we've got a lot of older figureheads around that are helping as well. And doing it at a really great level. I think it's well documented within the music industry, it's the hardest thing at the moment is the amount of competition from a festival's point of view, whether it's us, whoever it might be, across nationwide. And now the doors are open prior to COVID, it is very, very difficult. And we're seeing a lot of festivals being cancelled as well, due to sales and what have you, and that's mainly due to the amount of competition. So I think congratulations to everyone that's actually doing small festivals, big festivals, because it's a hard thing to crack at the moment, and with whether it's people's finances, the fans, and all the rest of it. So there's a lot to it, and I think we're just really happy to come up with this idea, and last year was great, and now we're going to try and just better it every year. And we're not really stepping on anyone's toes. So, yeah, we've made friends with a lot of other promoters too. So
I think that's also part of the strength in Newcastle and the Newcastle scene is all those different entities in the sort of local festivals and events that you'd be referencing. We're all working together. We're all supporting each other's shows. Yeah. There isn't a feeling of competition within that scene. And I think for all of us, the success of the Newcastle scene as a whole is a success for each individual and for each organisation within it. It's not just about pushing, okay, this one event needs to be successful. It's about saying, okay, Newcastle as a music scene is booming. We love this scene, and for any of the other events to succeed, for those Friday and Saturday night gigs to succeed, is a success for everyone. And I think that's the strength that we have in Newcastle, and it's also what will protect Newcastle scene moving forward from sort of, say, big money coming in and putting on an event that can overshadow us. Well, if the value is in the community and the scene, then we can survive through that and thrive through that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, but I want to touch on tickets. The early birds have gone, correct? Yep. But that doesn't mean that there's no tickets left. How are we going? Is there still plenty, or does everyone need to be quick? Yeah,
the early birds are exhausted, but we'll be selling right up until the day, and we'll hopefully get there with the sellout again.
Yeah.
I'd say get in while they're the current price. Because
of course.
They'll get more expensive if it gets closer to the date. Yeah. So jump in and
And I remember last year there were people literally outside of the festival, because obviously it's along a main road, and there were people going, how do we get into this? This looks amazing. So get your tickets.
We sold out at like 3 p.m. last year, and there were people that had wanted to come and planned to come that weren't able to get in, and that sucks. So
avoid that this year.
Yeah, avoid that.
Get your ticket.
Otherwise, you might forget, and it'll be too late. So I'd jump on it.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and congratulations on West Best. I can't wait for this year's.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bonnie.
This is where it sounds good.
Good stuff. From the Newcastle Live Gig Guide this weekend, Unwritten Law are on stage at King Street, and you can have some laughs with Dave Thornton at Khyber Sports Club. And on Sunday, Phoenix Pritchard will play live at the Wico, and Pocket Jazz are at Bartholomew's. For everything else, visit newcastlelive.com.au.
Newcastle Live. Newcastle Live.
That's about enough of the good stuff for today. I'd love to say a big thank you to Dylan, Chris and Wanagi from West Bloc Fest and Band-Aid Bookings and Festivals. Be sure to grab your tickets now before they all get snapped up. Thanks heaps for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow from 4 p.m. for more of the good stuff.